I think I can trace my interest to journalism actually before I even knew what journalism was. I I liked the idea of telling people something. Initially, it started out where because my mother was also a ballet instructor, she got us involved in ballet as well as just theater. So when I was a kid, I was Winthrop in the production of The Music Man, and I got a chance to do some of that. I danced in the Boston Ballet Company when I was 10, 11 years old. Got a chance to dance with Margot Fontaine. I mean, it was just really kind of like, wow. So I liked the idea of presenting, but I didn't quite make that connection to journalism until much later. And I think it really happened sometime, probably in just traveling in high school, where it was telling stories. I mean, this is all predating understanding who, what, where, why, when. Just sharing a story back and forth, which at the end of the day, journalism is storytelling based with facts. And so somewhere around late in high school, I started wondering about journalism, but it wasn't as if I was working at the high school newspaper or anything like that. But I did take a class in Orlando, which was sort of an audio video class, visual class. I don't think we had video back then. We had film, as a matter of fact, 16 millimeter. But we got a chance to go out and shoot some stuff and put it together and edit it. And I really kind of thought, wow, that's really interesting. It's a lot of fun. And so it just sort of connected to me, maybe this is what I want to do. So when I went to college, unlike today where kids have to choose what major they want right away, we had to do 2 years of just, basic classes in college. You weren't accepted into the College of Journalism or the College of Arts and Letters or, biology, whatever it was going to be. And while I was in those classes, I thought, well, maybe I'd like to pursue something with journalism. And so I took a summer off and I went back to South America, to Peru. And I had an uncle there, and my mother had called my uncle and said, I think Kerry wants to get a job in television. So do you think you could help him out? Now, the thing about journalism, and I think it's still this way today, but certainly back when I started, there were 3 TV channels, and CNN was just about to start. So it was kind of like not only what you know, but who you know. And I didn't know anybody, so my mother reached out to an uncle in a country where there's a very few rich and a lot of poor, and so the very few rich all know each other. So getting a job through them is probably going to be possible. So I fly down to Lima, and I move into my uncle's house, very wealthy. It's a house that has 54 rooms. It has my own living room, my own bathroom. There's a maid assigned to take care of me. I mean, I'm living like beyond any belief I've ever had. And a week goes by, and my uncle, Tio Pepe, who's supposed to be helping me out, is up at the sugarcane plantation in the northern part of the country in Trujillo. And I'm sort of wondering, okay, a week's gone by, he's not here. What about this job that he told my mom he could help me get? And as I enter into the second week, I don't know how to get a hold of him, so I call my mom, and my mom gets a hold of him. Anyway, word gets back to me. He goes, well, the staff at the house say that your tools haven't arrived. And I'm sort of curious, tools? What tools is he expecting me to have? And he goes, well, the tools to learn to repair televisions. He doesn't realize I want to be on TV or doing journalism. So I kind of go into desperation mode. I've traveled such a distance. I'm going to take the months off in Peru. And so I went over to the U.S. Embassy, and I went to what was then called USIS, United States Information Service. And I said, here's my situation. Is there anything you can do to help me out? Is there anything I can do in your office? And they go, tell you what, why don't you go over and see this guy at a radio station called Radio del Pacifico, and go to that radio station because they need somebody who can broadcast in English, a little bit of Spanish, but mostly in English for an expat population, primarily Brits. So I went over there. I was the only person at the station who spoke English. They said, here you go. You have a half hour to fill. and you do it once a week, but that was a lot of pressure on a kid who never even done journalism. So I went in there, and I'd read Time magazine. So as I trace it back, that was my first real taste of what it was like to answer who, what, where, why, when, and fill people in on what's going on with officially as a journalist.